Peace and blessings, guys. It's the Queen of Spades coming at you. Um, I know it's been a while. I've been super busy. I'm doing a little some of everything between, doing music. As you can see, if you scroll down on my page, you'll see that I have quite a few videos where, I've done covers, for songs of all sorts. And, I'm just trying to get back into the groove of, making videos once again. And like I said, I just been like hella busy doing different things. I've been going places performing. I do energy work for people, consultations. And I also write books. And I have a few children's books on Amazon.com. And I do quite a few things. I repair credit, I do a lot of different things. So I'm just like in my zone. Got my hands in many different pots. As they say, don't put your eggs all in one basket. So I intentionally try not to do that. But I was inspired to make a video today because this new moon energy has me feeling like light as a feather, and it really has me excited. I've just been feeling like very prosperous, and like physically, I don't, have all that I desire just yet. But I really feel like it's on its way to me. I feel like it's coming. So I'm just in a state of like zen. Like I feel the energy, like I'm on the brink of receiving some major blessings. And, I still have some things that I'm actually, working on project-wise that I have not completed yet, but things that, I desire to start, being more prominent with, more active in. And I'm just excited. Like, I don't know, I can't really feel any other way, no matter what happens. Sometimes, you may be down on your luck. You may feel like, things are not exactly going the way that you want it to go necessarily. And you feel like you're at wit's end at times. Just things not going exactly how you want it to. And I've been there, and I still get there from time to time. But I feel like I'm on the way up. Like I just feel like everything that I truly desire is about to pop off. Like this is the time for that to happen, which is right now. Even things that you have in mind, that you've planned for the future, you have to know, you have to have the confidence that it's actually in the process of manifesting. It's in the process. If you have, asked, the universe, God, to bless you with certain things, or to, assist you with certain matters, once you do that, you've got to kind of let the idea of constantly wondering and imagining, did it work? Did it go through? Were my prayers received? You've got to kind of have faith that it has been received. And then, let the worryation go and wait for it to manifest for you. Because 9 times out of 10, it has, been answered, but it's in the process of happening. So it's not going to happen 1, 2, 3. Sometimes some things do, But for the most part, depending on how big it is, whatever it is you're trying to manifest, whatever it is you're asking for, depending on that factor alone, sometimes it can take a little bit longer. So don't be discouraged. Wait for it. It's coming. It's on its way. And you've got to know that. And I think that I've always known that, felt that. Like when I really want something to come into fruition, something to manifest, I'm not really seeing signs just yet if it has manifested or not. So I would be, in a state where I'm like, did it go through? Did my working go through? Were my prayers answered? And I've found that it takes longer to come or manifest when you're constantly thinking about it. It's almost like you're having doubt with yourself and having doubt in the powers, of source, of God or divine, whatever you refer to that energy, that most high energy as. When I have just kind of let things go, do a little prayer or do a working for a specific thing, like, I've asked, for fast money. I've done spell work for fast money for myself and for others. When I do it for others, I have no attachment to their situations. So I do it, and, I do it with confidence. I know it's going to come because I'm asking for it, and I'm confident in asking for it, and I feel like I know it's going to come for them. And it does come for them in one way or another. When I do it for myself, I had to learn, to be more confident and have that same energy even for myself. Because you can, block your own blessings. And I'm one of those people, that had to learn, I didn't have to learn how to do things for other people. It would always fall through. I had to learn how to be more patient and manifest more so for myself. And the way that I saw positive results, fast results, was by doing the prayer, doing the energy work for the particular situation, and then not thinking about it again, just letting it go, releasing it into the universe, and, sealing the deal with, so mote it be, or be and it is, or and so it shall, ashe, whatever you say to seal the deal, and basically claim, and basically speak into existence exactly what you want. So with this full moon energy, it's got me feeling like so rich, so abundant, and like I actually have some things already starting to manifest for me, which is very interesting. Things beforehand that maybe I tried to have manifest and it wouldn't come through because it wasn't the right time. There is a such thing as divine timing. Everything happens exactly when it's supposed to. So, and that I believe that that's the case even in magic. Of course, with magic, you can speed things up a little bit in most cases, but everything's going to happen exactly when it's supposed to. And that's just facts. And I mean, I did a lot of emotional releasing this new moon, probably a little more than I have in the past. I cried about things that affected me deeply. For those of you that have, watched my channel over time and watched some of my videos, you know that I had a narcissistic mother. I had a narcissistic ex-husband, my children's father, And I have been through multiple levels of abuse, whether it's emotionally, physically, financially, spiritually. I've been through multiple levels of abuse, and I can feel the energy like I'm coming out on the other side. And I just want anyone to know that is going through this or has gone through that, and you don't see the light at the end of the tunnel. You don't know what's to come in the near future. Trust me, you're gonna come out on top on the other side. All you gotta do is keep pushing. All you gotta do is have faith and believe in yourself. Even when no one else does, you're all that matters to you, because we're the designers of our own destiny. We're the creators of our futures, whether you know it or not. And that's just my belief. I'm not saying that, we are, entities aside, like gods aside from the Most High God, but at the same time, we are gods too, if you but knew. Because, even in the scriptures, it says, we're God's children of the Most High God. Well, when you think about that alone, we pretty much are gods. Well, not pretty much, we are gods, individually and collectively. When a cat gives birth to its baby, the baby's not cat-like. It is a cat, It's in its DNA to be a cat. There's nothing outside of the reality of that, the cat's newborn baby becoming a cat and being a cat and is a cat automatically by birthright. By birthright, we are gods. And, agree to disagree, but it is what it is. Anything that I say, I can back it up. So, but, I'm not really here to debate that topic or that subject matter. I'm just saying that we are gods, and you literally can manifest into existence, bring about change, bring about order into your reality. Whatever it is that you desire, you can bring it into existence. First, by thinking about it. And then once you think about it, and this is what I want for me, for my family, whatever the case may be, once you think about it, the next thought is to actually see yourself having it. Whatever it is you desire, you have to see yourself having it. You have to know how, whatever it is that you want, how that smells, how that feels, how that tastes, like for instance, if you're wanting a life of luxury, how does it feel to have money at your fingertips to spend whenever you feel like spending on whatever you feel like spending it on? You also have to think about, you're going to eat. You're probably going to eat the best of the best in foods, and you may decide to live holistically, or eat. You may or may not eat meats. You may eat a diet of raw foods and fruits and vegetables. Whatever you decide. How does that taste? Think about it. You're sitting at a table at one of the most expensive restaurants in the world. What exactly do you order to eat? And when you order and your plate of food finally comes, how does it taste? Like, what does that richness taste like? What does that luxury taste like? What does it feel like? What does it look like? What are you experiencing? Are you happy? Are you joyful? Are you content? These are things you have to think about. just by seeing yourself with it and thinking about all the emotions that you feel, all the senses that you're becoming aware of while you have these things that you desire, you're going to manifest it. You're already doing that just by placing your mind in future tense, but not future tense. Placing your mind in a sense like present tense. You have what you want in the future, but you have it right now. So it's like you're not thinking to yourself, oh, I wish I had this. I wonder how this would be. Imagine it. You know how it will be, because you wouldn't want it if you didn't know that it was going to be nice, or it was going to be good for you, or something that you wanted or desired or needed even in your life. How does that feel? Think about it. You have to think about it in order to aid with manifesting such thoughts and, materialistic things. So I'm not spooky in a sense where I feel like if you're so high spiritually that you don't need anything physically. You need to eat. You'll need money to exist in this realm, in this world. You'll need clothes to wear. You can't walk around naked, so you need these different things. And there's nothing wrong with needing them. And there's nothing wrong with wanting them. And it's definitely, in my opinion, nothing wrong with wanting the best of the best. So you owe yourself at least that. Give it to yourself. Don't let people make you feel guilty for wanting the best. Don't let people make you feel guilty for, wanting to upgrade yourself or be the best version of yourself you can be. Abundance first starts with your mentality. It first starts with your mindset. You have to be there mentally already in order to manifest certain things. You have to already see yourself with that. Play a you know how when you're a child you have one of the greatest imaginations in the world. As an adult, we put that aside and stop exercising our imaginations. In magic, I learned that this is the best time as an adult to exercise that imagination all over again. You need that. Tap into that energy. It's going to aid you fully in manifesting everything that you desire, literally. So if I want something, then, I already see myself with it first in my mind. And then I just start being. I start being that energy. So I want wealth of abundance. We all do, right? So I carry myself as such. I dress as such. I walk around with an air of such. I am that. I am money. I am money energy. And so therefore, doesn't have a choice but to come to me. It's attracted to me because I'm on the same vibration and frequency as it is. And sometimes, you can say, oh, well, that's easier said than done. Sometimes it can be, but it is attainable. You just got to discipline yourself. And it starts with the thinking. Sometimes we can ward off prosperity and, abundance and wealth just with our own thoughts. Sometimes it doesn't have to be an outside force that keeps us poverty-stricken or keeps us without things that we deserve. Sometimes we can do that to ourselves. So be careful not to be your own worst enemy. It's very important. Yes, we must protect ourselves from outside forces, But sometimes we've got to protect ourselves from ourselves, you know, just our thinking. Whenever I find myself thinking on a low vibration, what I'll do, depending on the situation, is sometimes I'll give and allow myself the time to feel how I feel. You know, it just depends on the situation. If it's just a negative thought, then what I do is I combat it with a positive thought every single time. That's my way of keeping in a state of joy and prosperity energy. But if it's a situation that happened and I'm angry, I'm upset, I give myself time to cry, I give myself time to get angry and release those emotions. And I was recently saddened by something that happened in my past. And I was talking to a friend girl about it. I didn't know why those emotions and feelings came up, but it was something that made me to think about, a situation that happened in the past, and I was saddened over it, and I started crying about it. And I was like, I don't know why this keeps coming up for me. I thought I dealt with it. I thought I healed from it. I thought I was over it. And here it is, coming back up again for me. Why is that? And I was like, what is it that I'm not doing? And she was like, sis, sometimes you don't have to do anything at all. Sometimes things come up because they're just meant for you to recognize them and release them. Sometimes, maybe you've already done the work that you're supposed to. And maybe it's just like the leftovers of that energy or that situation left inside of you, subconsciously. And so there's different situations or circumstances that may bring it up. And when it comes up, let it out. Journal, talk to someone, talk to your higher self, reach out to your ancestors, ask them to help you to heal from situations. It works. And when she said that, it was just like, why didn't I think of that? It makes sense. Like, I don't need to do anything with that because I've already dealt with it. I've already looked into it as deeply as possible. And, no matter how I spin it, no matter how I cut it, it's the same as what I've already recognized and, become okay with and, just, content with myself and the situation. I'm just, it's nothing else. It's nothing more for me to do with that. Sometimes when you know that you've done all that you can with the energies of certain situations, just release it. Just let it go. That's all. There's nothing that you can do about it. Just let it go. And as you release it, truly release it, then the situation, or the leftover emotions, from the situation, whatever it is, it'll go away too. So that was something I learned during this full moon energy. And I must say, this is the best that I felt in a long while, because I feel like my ability in being empathic, it really allowed me this time, I was more open than I usually am. So I was able to feel the energy of the universe, and it just feels so good. It feels abundant, rich, wealthy, all of the things that it feels loving. It feels like I'm in a cocoon of love, like a safe place, I feel uberly protected. I feel grateful, lots of gratitude. I feel happiness, joy, contentment. I don't feel like I want for anything, even though there's so many more things that I could have and can get. I just feel like at this moment, like I'm not pressed. And that's a great thing to be. You can't attract money energy into your life if you're so uptight or you're worried all the time. You just attract more poverty to yourself. So, I've had, triggers that I've had to deal with over time from the different things that I've experienced. And, one of the things that I spoke about in some of my past videos was like wanting to, leave my previous marriage and being told like, you can't leave, you don't have a choice. You have to stay till death do you part, right? Okay, you have to stay. God hates divorce. And I feel like a broken record, but that's how much it was said to me, like millions and millions of times over. Different things that happened, different things that was told to me that I should do, different moves, different decisions that was told to me by people close to me, that I should do things, they felt like I should do, and some things that I wanted to do, they felt like I shouldn't do, for whatever reason. And me staying in the marriage, feeling like I was trapped, me feeling like I was powerless. At some point I took back my power and I left, and then I eventually divorced. And there was still drama, even after, I had made certain moves, because there was still some things within. I'm realizing now, like, I had to release, and, also recognizing what you need to do, like your part to play. That's always good, because then you know how to move forward. You know how to help others move forward too. But sometimes in narcissistic situations, the narcissist tends to continue to come after you even after you have left them. And when I left, it wasn't that cut and dry. It continued to find ways to come after me either with court or popping up at my house. Different things, trying to, encourage the children to be ugly towards me. He told the children that, they didn't have to respect me because, I had left the religion, that I once was a part of and that they were brought up in. And he said that they didn't have to respect, my husband, because he wasn't their real father, and he was raised up as a Christian in church, so they didn't have to respect him, which is very ignorant, because Christian or not, like, I wouldn't have cared if he was, a warrior soldier from the planet Mars. He's more a man than, their father ever could be. I fear that he'll die as a little boy, because he's still the same little boy that he was many years ago. Meanwhile, their stepfather is like, oh man, like, in the way that he moves, the way that he makes decisions. And for him to encourage them to do that just showed his level of ignorance. I had to talk to my children, tell them at times, like, none of that stuff matters, what your father was stating. The funny thing is his wife is Christian too, but he's encouraging our children not to respect my husband while encouraging the children to respect his wife, who also was brought up, in the religion of Christianity as well. So I thought that was kind of funny and hypocritical. But at the end of the day, I had to teach my children, like, You know, you have to respect all adults. It doesn't matter what religious background they have or any of that. You have to respect your stepfather. You have to respect your stepmother. You have to respect your father. You have to respect me too. There is no ifs, ands, or buts about it. There is no getting around that. It must be done. All adults have to be respected by you, whether you like them, whether you're, you know, not liking the choices made. You're happy for your father and you're showing love and respect to him. Then why can't you be happy for me too? You know, eventually I had to move on too. You know, people get remarried, and now instead of 2 parents, you have 4. So when I explained it in this way, they're like, well, I never saw it that way. And that's because they were encouraged not to see it that way. But at the end of the day, you know, there's a scripture in even the Quran, and it goes, they plan, but God is the best of planners. And I quote that all the time because they planned, but God was the best of planners. And in the end, my children are not disrespectful like that towards me anymore. They have apologized to me for their actions and things that they've said and done. And I told them, you know, it's okay. I forgive you. I know it wasn't you telling you to do that. I mean, I know it wasn't, you know, your choice really in doing that. You were influenced to. And, you know, after the hurt, I had to heal from that because even though I accepted their apologies for a while, honestly, even as an adult, even as their mom, I kind of looked at my children like 2 little people, 2 little enemies in my household, because they were doing little mischievous, little devilish things to try to bring more and more friction between my husband and myself. And when I asked them, why would you say something like that? Why would you do something like that? They would say, Daddy told us to. And Daddy's right. And that's what we're going to do. I'm like, well, your daddy going to get your ass whipped, boy. You know, you better rethink your position, because at the end of the day, when I take this belt out, because you're not listening to my words, you're not listening to my verbalizations, so I have to like physically handle you, you're gonna feel all of that. Your daddy not gonna feel none of that. You sure you want to go that route? Because he not gonna get these whippings, but you will. You know, so when I put it that way, it was like, no, not really. I don't really want to whip him. I'm like, I don't whip them often at all. Some people have disagreed, like my parents and everything, like, you spare the rod, you spoil the child. And I just don't believe in whipping them all the time like that. I believe in having dialogue and conversations. At the end of the day, you can do that, but I feel like, you know, intelligent conversation needs to be had too. How can you teach them to be thinkers if you're constantly just reacting on them in a physical way? I was brought up where, you know, the child is supposed to, you know, get a spanking or, you know, different acts of corporal punishment, and you can do that, and sometimes it's warranted. But in some cases, I feel like a healthy, intelligent conversation can be had to drive a point home, more so than even a spanking. Now, that's not all the time with our children, but sometimes that's all they need. And, you know, I have not thrown, you know, spankings away totally and completely, but for the most part, I just rather not. And then what happens over time as your children get older? What happens when they become, you know, grown or bigger than you even? You're going to still put them over your knee and spank them? Sometimes sometimes, conversations need to be had. What happens when they get too big for you to do that? Like, the training starts when they're younger, and at some point they get bigger, and other methods need to, be considered where they're concerned. They get too big for you to put over their knee, put over your knee, to spank them. And at some point, you don't want them to think that every time they do something wrong, the reaction is for them to get beat down or, receive a punishment. Like I said, sometimes, intelligent conversation needs to be had. We don't want our children to incur some of the blockages that previous generations have. You want your children to be scientific thinkers. You want them to understand, cause and effect. Sometimes you don't have to put hands on them for them to learn and understand. And sometimes you do. So that was something that I have learned and even grown up on, as far as, discipline and parenting is concerned. Sometimes you've got to make different changes in order, to be more befitting and embracing of certain changes within you as a parent, as an adult, as well as changes that come within your children. My children are not like 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 anymore. They're preteen and teenager now. And, like I said, I haven't totally thrown those types of, punishing away, but at the same time, I'm not using them as often because I feel like if you're not careful, it can be counterproductive. So that's just me, like I said, some things deserve it, some things don't. And it's up to you as the parent, to decide for your own children, what is and what isn't. It's up to you. So, these are just some of my thoughts. We had a wonderful new moon ritual, and my children wrote down their intentions, as well as my husband wrote down his intentions, and I wrote down my intentions, and we had a very nice ritual. And it's just funny because my husband and I grew up very religious, but at some point as adults, we made the decision not to be religious, and then we met each other. And it's just crazy because it's like surreal, like we fit, we mesh, I was always taught growing up that none of the religions are that very different from each other anyway. So to me, there wasn't a big difference in the different religions. There's way more similarities than there are differences. So it's just, we have a spiritual home, and, my children are being taught to be spiritual, but in a sense, there's some things within religion that we hold on to, like some of the morals, some of the values, and also the reading of the books. I still look at the Quran, I still look at, the Bible, and I actually look at the scriptures and read both of them. I've been doing that since I was a child anyway. I never just read one book, I always read all the books of the different religions, which, people would be wondering, well, why are you doing that? I was a scientific thinker as a child. So, but I had, still had my shortcomings here and there. We all do. But I was looking at myself during this new moon energy, and I just asked myself, like, what do you want? Like, what are you aiming for? Because the me years ago, like, I wouldn't even recognize myself years ago. I'm still dealing with the effects of some of the things that happened to me years ago, if I'm honest, which I am for the most part. And I'm in the process of healing from some of those things. There's degrees of aftermath, and some call it PTSD. Some there's triggers that we have. Even if you haven't dealt with abuse, even if you haven't dealt with PTSD per se, there's triggers that every one of us have. Some of us recognize them, some of us don't. And there's things that I'm still healing from. Maybe healing from for, years to come, who knows? But at the same time, I'm doing my work. And that's the important thing, to do your work. You have to do work for yourself first and foremost, because how can you be there for anyone else if you are constantly depleted? And one of my sister friends, she asked me, she said, sis, I give my all. I've always given my all to my children, my husband. And then I'm so tired at the end of the day, I can't think of nothing that I want to do for myself but lay down and go to sleep. And I started laughing with her, because we just started busting out laughing at the reality, I guess, of the situation, and I laughed because I have experienced similar. In fact, that's how I was for years in my first marriage. I was depleted. And she said, what can I do? What can I do to fix that or turn that around? Have you ever felt that way? I said, I have felt that way years ago. And she was like, do you know what I could do to turn that around? And I was like, I know what you can do to turn that around. And I was like, I'm just going to say this. I was like, the first law of nature is self-preservation, right? She was like, yes. I said, okay then. When you give of yourself, your energy, your power source to your children and your husband, you're loving them, you're caring for them, you're feeding them. When you're doing that, you're giving of your energy. And there's nothing quite wrong with that. But the problem is you don't have much to give from to begin with. So if the first law of nature is self-preservation, the first thing you have to do is fill yourself up first. I was like, just think about it. You personally are like a bank account. When you give to your children and your husband and others of your time and energy, some money is withdrawn from your bank account. So when you're giving away your monies, from your bank account to the people that you love and care for, well, that balance is going down, 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 down. Well, eventually your bank account becomes withdrawn. You have nothing left in it to give to anybody then. And so I say to you, keep deposits in your bank account. Never let it get withdrawn. Keep depositing into yourself so that you can give love and care to others that you care for. If you don't take care of yourself first, then you won't be any good to anyone else. So that's something to think about. And I say this for anyone who is out there in situations that in which you feel helpless, in which you feel like you can't change, you're scared, you don't know where to turn to. First of all, I offer consultations because I'm pretty sure that I can help you. I'm pretty sure that I can help you. And, you know, it's like my way of giving back. I've always been one to help others. The only difference is now I keep my bank account filled and it never gets withdrawn. That's the difference. So now I'm able to comfortably give to others and help others because I have the energy to do it. My bank account never gets depleted. If you are feeling alone and helpless in a situation, I can show you how to help yourself. I can show you. But first, you've got to look within to see exactly what you want to do, because you don't have to stay there. And I'm living proof that you don't have to stay there. No matter what others say to you, no matter what self-defeating thoughts you have about yourself, you can always get out of situations. You don't need anyone's validation or approval. If you feel that a situation is not right for you, it's time to go. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. It's time to go. And I say, do yourself a favor and get the hell out of there. And if your thing is, well, I thought to myself back in certain situations, I don't have any money. Where am I going to go? You got to do what you got to do. There's always options. The universe never leaves us without options. I just didn't see them because I wasn't looking for the options. I was looking at the excuses. I was looking at what I saw in front of me, which looked like a dead end. And I'm here to tell you that there is no dead end. That's an illusion. You always have options. You always have choices. Now, whether you actually want to tap into those options and choices and do something about your situation or not, that's completely up to you. But you have options and you have choices. Now, what are you going to do with it? It's your responsibility to make the move. What are you going to do with it? Are you going to die in your situation? Or are you going to give you a chance to live and flourish and thrive? The choice is yours. So I'm going to end on that note. I have consultations available for this month. I have a few days left that are open this month. And if you're interested in getting consultations or perhaps pendulum reading or even any spell or energy work done, well, you know, you can contact me in my inbox. I also have a page on YouTube and Instagram, Johari's Lair. On Facebook, it's Johari's Lair of Spadides. On Instagram, it's Johari's Lair. And you can message me in either one of those. I also have a Yahoo account, joharislair@yahoo.com. Just take your pick, message me, and we can go from there, you know, on scheduling consultation or whatever it is that you're needing for your particular situation. Once we do the consultation and I do a divination, then we can go from there on how I could possibly help you. So I thank you guys for tuning in. I'm happy that I got to, you know, make a video. It's been a minute and I'm just, you know, stating some things that were on my mind. I am going to try my very, very best to be more consistent with my videos because it actually is therapeutic for me. I don't know if I'm helping someone out there or not. That's my aim, that's my goal, but it actually is therapeutic for me too, just to talk to you guys. So that's all I'm going to say for now. I look forward to seeing you guys again soon. Enjoy this full moon energy, man. It just, man, it feels really good. It feels like everything that was meant to come to me, prosperity-wise, it's well on its way if it's not here already. And I'm already seeing great benefits already. So I'm happy. I'm excited. And I want all of y'all to be happy and excited and to thrive and to be joyful in your lives too, because you don't have to go through the opposite of that. Whatever you're going through, if you're not happy, if you're not content in your life, something is not right and it needs to change. So comment down below, like, subscribe, let me know your thoughts on this video or things even that you may want me to touch on. I plan to get into quite a few things in the next few videos, and I'll see you then. Until next time, peace and blessed be, and bright blessings to you all. Bye.